Hey, everybody. Sean O'Connor here from Macabre Daily, and it is, guys, I always forget the guys and gals, I always forget this. Is this episode 5?
I think so.
Something like that.
I think it is. This is Desert Island Dorks, where we pick some films to bring with us to watch on a desert island if we were ever stranded there. I think the funniest thing is we think that we would last more than a day, like we'd even have a chance to watch any of these movies. The theme.
Well, you don't think that film nerds can survive on a desert island? Of course we can.
Cayley, I don't know about film nerds. I'm talking about myself. It would be like the Survivor type from Skeleton Crew. I'd be like eating my finger by like 20 minutes in, Today's theme is it's simple, but I think it's going to generate a lot of great discussion and a lot of fun. And that is your 3 favorite slasher movies that you would bring to the island. So, Eric, I can't stop looking at you, and I'm going to have to because you're making me laugh. So,
sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It's off-putting.
I got it. I'm committing.
I love it. No, I love it. Just so that everyone's familiar with the way we do this, we go round robin, and everybody will do one movie, and then they will talk about it, possibly defend it, or really sell it. And then we'll, if anybody has anything to chime in about it, which we always do, we'll get after it. Sound good?
Awesome.
Yeehaw.
Let's do it.
I will back clean up for the round, so I'm just going to go with the people that I see in front of me clockwise. John Collins. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on a second. I get so eager to get right to it. I forget my intros, and usually Eric yells at me.
I was this close, but my face, it hurts right now.
Eric is not going to be yelling. Eric can barely talk.
I'm so concerned. Let me start with the incredible John Collins, whose lead point horror came out. John, refresh my memory. Was it October, September?
July 1st, actually.
Or was it just July? I'm completely off. Yeah. Fantastic dark carnival horror. It has got elements of Barker and Bradbury and Block, but it's completely and utterly John Collins. You're working on two projects right now. So I already have one that I'm beta reading, and I'm just about to start that, and I'm incredibly excited. But John's having a phenomenal year. Then we have Jarrod Hornbeck, who is, because Steve's not here, I'm going to say it because, Steve's on my bad list, the better half of the Puppet Masters Castle Freaks podcast.
You're just saying what everyone's already thinking, so just go with it.
We love our precious Steve Guntli and can't wait to see your handsome face for next month. So you're Miss Steve. I guess I should say the same thing about Robert. Okay, I guess we miss you, Robert. Continuing on, we're going to go with Erick Hanson, whose face is smooshed, but is still so handsome. How'd you pull that off?
Hey, man. It's not easy, but you do what I got to do. It's funny. So my wife, before this Zoom started, my wife, she's working on the computer, doing some stuff. And I walk up over to her and I said, "Hey babe, do you have a pair of pantyhose I could put over my head?" She looks over and she's like, and I was about to explain why. She's like, you don't have to explain it. I get it. I know.
She's like, it's Sunday at our house. Here you go.
But I can't do it. It hurts, man. Oh my God. Okay, I'm back.
There's that lovable face we missed.
Anyway, continue. I can't hear you.
Erick Hanson has one of the best podcasts out there. It is my go-to to learn about the most exciting people in horror. That's how I found out about Cayley, and I'll get to you in a second, Cayley. Eric has his Cradle to the Grave podcast, just has the most dynamic voices. First and foremost, his own. Absolutely love Cradle to the Grave, and I highly recommend everybody check it out if they aren't already, which we know they are, Eric. So, goes without saying.
Thank you for the praise. Appreciate it.
You got it. And then we have the most special guest, Cayley from Once Over with Cayley, 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. Each and every episode is better than the last, and that is saying something because they're phenomenal from episode 1. Cayley, I don't know how you do it. Your production value and your skill with editing and your presence, the content that you do, the style in which you do it, I'm actually feeling a little intimidated right now.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. That means like a huge amount to me. I'm blushing quite a bit at the moment. It's an honor to be on a panel with you guys. I'm so excited to be doing this.
Well, you are honestly the present most exciting thing that's happening in the present with horror, but I also think that you are absolutely the future of horror as well. And I'm so excited.
And Sean, Cayley's a rock star, man. Let me just give you a little background real quick. I've had Cayley on my show many, many times. Always a blast chatting with her. But of course, as you know, we've had Robert and Steve drop out from the chat today. And so I emailed Sean. I was like, hey, man, let me see if I can get a guest. Totally last minute. Maybe like an hour prep, I messaged Cayley. I was like, hey, do you want to do this with talk about 3 slasher movies? And she's like, hell yeah, I want to. Right on. So, I mean, what a champ. Thank you, Cayley, for coming through. I really appreciate it.
That I get a chance to talk about movies with anybody else who likes movies as much as I do, I am there for it.
Awesome.
Cayley, I feel like you were in your living room just saying 3 slasher movies out loud anyway, and we just had to slot in.
I immediately knew what my picks were. I'm going to be honest. I was like, okay, I got this. Yeah, I don't even need to do anything. I'm ready.
Erick's right, though. You're a rock star, and we can't thank you enough. He came through big. You too, Erick.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, intro's out of the way. Let me go back to where I started a moment ago. JC, you ready?
Sure. My rules for slashers are a little kind of solid. My idea of a slasher is something that's kind of based in some kind of reality. Like, I know a lot of people say Nightmare on Elm Street's a slasher, and I don't agree at all. I agree that's the supernatural. You can't put Black Christmas and Nightmare on Elm Street in the same category for a lot of reasons. So I'm trying to keep it kind of based in some kind of reality. And I'm going to start right off the back with Psycho 2. Psycho 2, directed by the great Richard Franklin. Everyone, I'm older than all of you, but I wasn't alive when Psycho came out. Psycho is something I heard about. When Psycho 2 came out, I was 11 years old, and somehow we convinced our parents, me, my friends, and my brother, convinced our parents, all of us, to go to the drive-in to see Psycho 2. And my parents were in the back drinking Mellow Balls and doing tequila shots. And we just sat there watching. It's like, this is the most insane goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a great movie. The cast is phenomenal. Dennis Franz is a dick as always. Anthony Perkins, to be honest, I have to look to see who was nominated that year, because the fact that Anthony Perkins wasn't considered, considering that this was more or less considered, like, at the time, like, does he have a career? Because he never got out of Psycho's shadow. And that's his best performance as Norman Bates.
John, can I ask you straight up, how did you choose between 2 and 3? Because I don't know if I could make that choice.
3 for me has great moments, but I was lucky enough to read. Remember Cinefantastique magazine?
Sure.
They did a great article about the original script for 3, and I read that before I saw the movie. And the film version that came up with 3 and the original script, they don't match. And the script that wasn't filmed, I just thought would have been a better film.
Oh.
I still like it.
John, can I ask you then? So you're talking about Charles Edward Pogue's script for Psycho 3? So it's funny. That's funny that happened, because similarly, that's what happened with Psycho 2. Like, if you've ever, not the script, like not necessarily Tom Holland's script, but if you've ever read the novel Psycho 2, completely different story than the Psycho 2 we got. Interesting for a book, not a great book, but the version of Psycho 2 that we got is so much better than if they would have tried to adapt the book.
In my opinion, Block was never a great novelist. He was a good novelist. He was a great short story writer. but as a novelist, he was like, okay. But the original script of Psycho 3, Jeff Fahey's character was supposed to be a serial killer.
Oh,
and
he's
when I
halfway
read
there
that,
in the movie.
it's he's just a creep in that movie. But I read that article not really understanding that was the script that wasn't being made. So when I saw the movie, I was expecting this whole big reveal. Jeff Fahey is the one killing everybody, and it was just, oh, okay, it's still Norman. All right. But Psycho 2, oh my God, Richard Franklin just directs the shit out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Psycho 2 has no business being as good as it is. I mean, a sequel that's what, 20, 30 years 22 years after the original, right? And who remembers, the original Psycho when Psycho 2 came out? It wasn't on anybody's like must-watch list or whatever, but Psycho 2 comes out and it's like, wow. I think I may have watched Psycho 2 first before I saw the original Psycho, because I think I was like around your age, John, around that time. And I remember loving Psycho 2. It was great. Yeah. And so, it opened up the whole world of Psycho to me. Like, I need to go watch the first one. So, good pick.
That cutaway scene at the end, I can't find the cut between the person and the dummy. I can't find it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So, Psycho 2. Well, that's a 4. Psycho 2.
It's a great way to start it off, John. Fantastic pick. All right, Jarrod, tough act to follow. What do you have?
I agree with John that Anthony Perkins is phenomenal in Psycho 2. I would say I would go one step further and say he directed my favorite Psycho movie, which is Psycho 3.
I knew that was coming. I knew. I saw it.
And that was pure. That was incredibly serendipitous timing, because we didn't talk about it beforehand. But I love Psycho 3. I love Psycho 2 also. I actually like Psycho 4 quite a bit. I think the series has a base, until you get to the Gus Van Sant remake, has a really great baseline of quality that a lot of franchises don't have. I think, even though, I maybe never saw that article or what the original script conception was, the version that we got is so fascinating to me. I love the religious elements with Diana Scarwood's character, and I love the Jeff Fahey performance we did get, even though he's not, spoiler alert, the person actually killing people. He does sort of represent what a modern day, meaning in 1986, Psycho would look like, as compared to a now 50-something-year-old Norman Bates. And the difference, and it kind of represents the dichotomy between, what they could get away with in movies. Like, Anthony Perkins is still kind of very old school and classic in that way, and Dwayne Duke is your perfect 80s scumbag. And there's people who pop up in that movie who are mainstays in other 80s slasher movies. I think the Carter Burwell score to Psycho 3 is one of my favorites. I have both Psycho 2 and 3 on vinyl, and they're two of my favorite scores. The Goldsmith score for 2 is much more evocative of the original by design. The Carter Burwell,
do you have a Psycho 3 t-shirt though, Jarrod?
I sure do.
Why the fuck aren't you wearing it, man?
It's because it's a tank. I cut it into a tank top. Like, I cut the sleeves off of it.
As well you should.
It's even cooler than any of us could have imagined, is what he's trying to say.
No, it needs to be a crop top.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, if you'll indulge me for a second. I was guest hosting a round of trivia for Brooklyn Horror Society last year, and I did a round with scores. And so I would play 30 seconds of a score, and they had to say what the movie was. And when that Carter Burwell one came out, you could tell the audience was really stumped. And I was up on the stage going, think about who your host is. Think about what you know about me. And I was gesturing to myself while I was wearing the Psycho 3 shirt. And at least one team got it because of that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Nice. Very good. All right.
Yeah, I love Psycho 3. I think it's fantastic.
Hey, Cayley, have you seen Psycho 3 or 2? Cayley,
I have.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about the idea of picking those is both of those movies are movies that I can just watch and rewatch and rewatch. And that's the whole point of a Desert Island pick, right?
Exactly.
Is you want to be able to watch it. You want to be able to enjoy it. You want to be able to, Jarrod, like you're saying, you want to be able to close your eyes and get lost in the music at times, right? And so I love those picks. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. This has become a psychocentric episode. All right, Eric.
I picked Psycho 5. No, just kidding.
I was going to say, unless CCH Pounder is in this call, I don't think anyone's going to pick Psycho 4, although it's really good.
Okay. Well, let me give you a little background first. Is everybody sitting down?
We are.
Yeah, I got a long story to tell. Okay. So if you've been a guest on my podcast, or if you listen to Cradle to the Grave, you're aware that I hate slasher movies. Okay. I have a horror pyramid. I call it the horror pyramid. And on the top of the horror pyramid is vampires. Vampires is my favorite. I love anything vampires. That's my genre, right? Subgenre. Under vampires, we got werewolves. And then we got the zombies. Then we got probably creature features, then ghosts. And guess what's on the bottom of the pyramid? Slashers. So, with all that said, guess who came up with this topic for this current Desert Island Dorks episode? I did.
And then you tried to change it on us too, by the way, which is
I know. I was like, oh shit. Okay, is it cool if we change? You're like, no, it's too late, motherfucker. You need to talk about slashers. So, with all that said, I picked some movies. I picked some slasher movies that I find fun to watch. Now, the reason I don't like slashers is because growing up in the 80s, a lot of these slasher movies were sequels, and they were goofy and they were stupid. You know, I'm thinking about all the Friday the 13th sequels and just all the ripoffs. And, you know, and just growing up, I was like, I want serious horror movies. I like the serious horror movies. And I also like my horror to have supernatural, John, like you said, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street to use in a slasher. And I agree, because it's a supernatural villain. And so it kind of gets a little tricky there. But slashers was never my thing. I never just really got into them. But there are some. And the ones I picked today are films that, almost all of them, are that I only watched for the podcast for the first time ever in my life. I'm 54 years old. I'm fucking old. And the first time I've seen a couple of these movies was like last year. So my first pick, with all that said, I know you're on pins and needles. What slashers is Eric picked?
I just want to hear how you're going to justify Salem's Lot being a slasher.
I was this close, Jarrod. Well, if you think about it, right, Barlow is going around slashing. Oh no, my first pick is Dr. Giggles from 1992.
Oh man, Dr. Evan Rendell.
Larry
Drake.
That's a good pick.
You can watch the hell out of that on a desert island. So
Ottone is losing his mind right now.
Oh,
he is. I can picture Ottone right now. Ottone's brain has exploded. Yes, Dr. Giggles is my first pick. Now, I first watched this movie, I want to say like a year ago, when I had guest Sam Deegan. She picked it, and she came on and we talked about it, and I watched it, and this is a fun movie, and it does not take itself seriously, which I appreciate. And it has the most medical puns out of any medical drama or whatever. All Dr. Giggles does is he says medical puns like "take two and call me in the morning," right? Or "you need a second opinion," right? It goes on and on. And of course, at the end of the film, you're thinking there can't be any more medical puns. He said them all. He saved the best for last. When Dr. Giggles gets stabbed by the final girl, and he looks straight in the camera and he says, "Is there a doctor in the house?" Fucking brilliant. I love this movie. Larry Drake is, in my opinion, an underrated actor. He knows what he's doing. He knows what film he's in, and he plays it up. It's super fun. So yeah. Any thoughts on Dr. Giggles, guys? What do you guys think about Dr. Giggles?
I was kind of ready to put the boots to you, but I love it.
Dr. Giggles has that one scene involving somebody escaping a body that's just like,
Yep.
I was sitting there just like,
child. Yeah.
At that time, horror was pretty weak. And I remember seeing that in theater. I'm like, I can't believe they just did that.
It's gnarly, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's a good, it's an entertaining movie.
To say it's good is it's not good. It's
entertaining.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, might be a stretch.
It's got that whole
entertaining as hell.
It's got that whole small town urban legend feel and all that crap with the story of his father and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't like slashers, that's a pretty out of left field pick.
That's what I'm here for. The out of left field picks, baby.
I love the swerve. Love it. All right, Cayley, I'm pins and needles. What do we got?
All right. Well, I think that the entire idea, first of all, slashers are at the top of my pyramid. So Eric and I are coming at this from completely different angles. Slashers are at the top of my pyramid. I got like slashers, home invasion. Those two are maybe tied for the top of my subgenres. So, but I agree with Eric that slasher movies are supposed to be goofy. For me, a slasher movie, I agree completely also what John said about the idea that, Nightmare on Elm Street is not necessarily a slasher. Completely agree. Because to me, a slasher should be about the kills. It should be about the human characters. It should be about the fear of, can this potentially happen to me? And also, it should be a little bit goofy. And because of that, my first pick is the wonderful 1982 film, Pieces, which is not only one of my favorite slashers, but one of my all-time favorite movies.
Bastard!
Bastard!
Cayley, you see the Sharpie right here? Looks like I have to go with one of my Audible picks.
You just swiped Sean's pick, Cayley.
Oh no.
That pick was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Exactly. So I love that movie so much. I think that it is the perfect amalgamation, literally and figuratively, for everything that it should be. It has the unknown assailant, and it has a little bit of a giallo sort of feel. You get the female students getting killed all over the college campus, and this crazy killer trying to make a human jigsaw puzzle. There's chainsaw dismemberment. There's everything is there's hilarious lines and hilarious deliveries to those lines, and I cannot get
martial
enough.
arts.
Martial arts, mild racism at one point.
This is my kung fu professor. What?
Yes.
You've made Matt Orozco very, very happy right now that someone's bringing up Pieces for sure. It straddles that line between giallo and slasher perfectly because, I'm squinting one way or the other, you're there. It also has that incredible Italian film aesthetic of what the fuck is happening. I don't care.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did I just watch that guy skateboard down a hill and crash into a mirror?
Cares,
why did that happen? It doesn't matter. And that's exactly, to me, that is what makes a slasher film fun. And that's what makes it so rewatchable now I'm going to go and try to figure out if, the way that the eyeball is moving actually means something. And what is this? And what is that? And how did they do this effect? And that is what makes it a Desert Island pick, is that you want to rewatch it again and again and again.
We're never.
I love the killer hiding the chainsaw behind his back when he gets into the elevator.
Yes,
I roar with laughter every time.
Yes.
Every time I watch it,
I will die on this hill. Pieces has a better final moment than Citizen Kane.
Okay, that might be a hill you die alone on, but okay.
Yeah.
It's the best ending to a film ever.
Well, why would you even consider the filmography of Orson Welles when you can consider the filmography of Juan Piquer Simon?
Yes.
What I love about Pieces is that it's this perfect amalgamation of because it's a Spanish, Italian, and American production. So it pulls stuff from all of those studio systems together in ways that don't always make sense. And those, to me, always make the best movies. Now, you'll be happy to know, Cayley, that I also have a Pieces t-shirt, which is cut into a tank top.
I have 2 Pieces t-shirts that are cut into tank tops, oddly enough. And I'm not wearing either one of them. I'm
trying to remember, because we met at VHS Fest a couple years ago, and I think that might have been what I was wearing actually there.
It's entirely possible.
I
and I probably was like, I love Pieces.
Hey, is it true?
Great.
Is it true that they use like real pigs for some of the scenes in this movie that they actually chainsaw a pig?
Apparently that was a common thing in the like Italian productions back then.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
dude.
Apparently, yeah.
It works.
I believe it's the elevator sequence is where that is most
Okay.
infamous for.
Yeah.
And it stars one of the most unsung heroes of horror, Christopher George.
Yeah.
George, they the animals. Come on.
Great.
He's in Gates of Hell too. Yeah.
Some of the
Gates
best
of
episodes
Hell,
of Love Boat and Fantasy Island. Christopher George.
He's the how could forget him
Coolest
as
name.
the murderous track coach in Graduation Day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Somehow I don't think that's going to be on our best slashers list.
No.
Well, funny enough. No, I'm just kidding. All right. These picks have been fantastic. 2 Psychos, a Dr. Giggles, and a Pieces, which I had to take off my list, Cayley. Well played, though. Well played.
Yeah.
Okay. Pieces is a tough act to follow. I was going a little haughty when I made my list initially, and I was like, I think I'm going to pick Inside from France, and maybe I'm going to do the Swedish film came out, I think it was like 2 years ago, called The Conference. It's actually a great slasher movie. Highly recommend people check it out. But then I realized that I was just kidding myself. If I'm on the island, it's going to be quintessentially 80s movies, maybe some 70s. So my first pick is going to be Alice, Sweet Alice.
Yeah, that was on my short list.
Alfred
That
Soule
was on my
directed.
short list too.
He never really went on to I mean, he directed like Pandemonium, and he never really landed, with anything as good as Alice, Sweet Alice. This movie really messed me up because I don't, Eric, it bums me out when you say you're the old man of the podcast because I'm 2 years older than you. So I'm like, oh no.
Wow.
There used to be back in the way olden days. There actually used to be cable, but it had like a little box and you had to turn the key. And then you kind of like, maybe you'd get like 6 or 7 movies and you get what you get and you don't get upset. And Alice, Sweet Alice was one of the movies for an entire month. Now, keep in mind, there's only 7 movies for the month. So you can imagine how many times we watched that movie and it kind of burned into my retinas. I grew up Catholic. I feel like I'm lucky enough to possibly have escaped. But it really resonated because at the age that I watched it, we were going to mass every Sunday. I had gone to Catholic school. So I was...
Was this back when your cars, you had to use your feet to drive them?
Well, what would happen when they slowed down, you'd get out and you would crank them. When you go fuck yourself. No, you would just do the Flintstone feet. So this movie scared me on so many, multiple levels. There's a great religious aspect to it and kind of an anti-religion aspect to it now that I watch it as an adult. It pays homage to Don't Look Now with the Yellow Raincoat. It actually pays homage to Giallo movies with the Yellow Raincoat. And it really does have a central mystery, which I do think you need to a slasher, a good slasher. Even Pieces has a central mystery. I mean, you have to take like 2 planes, a boat, and a hot air balloon to get to it, but it's there.
There's more red herrings in Pieces than any other movie.
You could open up a fish store.
Yeah.
So Alice, Sweet Alice has a sweet spot in my heart. And I also, I gauged it against, could I watch this movie for however long it took me to die on this island? And the answer is yes. So there we go.
Okay.
Good pick.
Good one.
That's
Love
a
it.
really good pick.
All right, Johnny, we've had solid picks all around. Even your Dr. Giggles, Eric. I mean, that makes me smile. I love it.
Dr. Giggles has a mystery too. Like, what is going to be another medical pun that he's going to throw out? What's the next one? Don't know what it is.
Did I really spend money on this?
Did he do a turn your head and cough in Dr. Giggles?
I can't remember.
might have.
Could have been there.
No.
Didn't mean to derail the episode. Please, John, go.
When I think of slashers, I also think of one man and one man only, Tom Savini, and he has to be represented.
Yeah.
I hate the burning with a burning passion. I'm going with The Prowler from 1981. The Prowler. Right. It's a solid, well-acted movie. No one's gonna rush the Academy that in 81 for nominations, but Savini's work is impeccable in that movie. The bayonet through the head, the pitchfork in the shower. I mean, in a lot of ways, we watch these movies mainly for the special effects, footage, and simulated snuff films, more or less. But it's an entertaining movie. It's a creepy movie, and it's as Savini's '80s resume. It doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, the love as far as slasher goes to Maniac, but I don't consider Maniac a slasher. I don't consider Maniac a slasher at all.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I agree with you.
I'll have something to say about that on my next pick, John.
Well, I will be glad to debate you on that, Eric. But Prowl is just a solid movie. With really, I mean, you look at some of the people in the movie, they didn't, with the exception of Farley Granger, no one really did a lot, but they do well in the movie and they sell it.
John, can I tell you my favorite Farley Granger thing about The Prowler is that he's in the first 5 minutes. He's the only name to the movie. And he's like, I'm taking my fishing gear and I shan't be back for the remainder of the movie. And you're like, there goes the killer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a great mystery.
No.
But I agree with you, John. I actually think it's people have argued whether it's Maniac, whether it's Day of the Dead, but I think The Prowler is Savini's best work. That knife to the top of the head kill is maybe his best.
Savini said he had to finance that stuff himself.
I believe
like Joe Zito, and so he's like, I had to do it as cheap as possible, and he does it. But Joe Zito actually went on to direct Friday the 13th 4. He was a solid director, and Friday the 13th 4 was one of the better in the series. So I'll watch a Prowler all the time.
I'm not going to blame anybody for lack of budget for those films. None of them had money to throw around, so ingenuity,
Yep.
Yeah, it's great movie. Great movie.
All right, Savini represented. I have a feeling we possibly will circle back around to him. Jarrod, what do you got?
So you said before about how Psycho 2 shouldn't be as good as it is. And I find the way I approached this was I played very fast and loose with Desert Island. Like Psycho 3 does fall into that category for me personally, but there are a lot of other movies that are slashers that I kind of just took them off the table. I was like, I'm not going to talk about Halloween.
Jarrod, give us some.
My favorite one of all time. I've talked about the Slumber Party Massacre more than anyone in the world. So I took it off the table. I said, understood. I'm changing the parameters of what this is. So I want to give some credit to a slasher movie that I think is way better than it has any right to be. And it's Mark Roson's 1982 movie, The House on Sorority Row.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good deep cut.
So that movie has an incredible Richard Band score, which it's so pastoral and pretty. But it works. It feels like it should be for a completely different movie. There's also this like kind of psychoanalytic aspect to this movie that comes into play a little bit later on outside of the slasher element of the movie. I think it's shot surprisingly well and acted surprisingly well, except for maybe one of the most famous bad line deliveries, which is one of my favorite things ever, which is when they realize that the house mother is actually alive, or they think maybe she didn't die in the pool. One of the women who English, I don't believe, is her first language, the actress, and she delivers this line: "How do we know she is alive?" And it's hilarious. It kind of stops the movie dead for a second. But if you go on YouTube and you just search that line reading, like you'll find that. But I mean, I find this to be just like kind of a fascinating production. And it's so good. It harkens to like some De Palma in it. And I think it's one that's just like criminally overlooked when people talk about slashers from this time. I started to think about, we have franchises, and then you can't talk about slashers in the 80s without thinking of like sorority or fraternity movies.
True.
And so I started thinking about that, and I said, Slumber Party Massacre is not one of those, but it's so close to it. But I champion that movie any chance I get. I think I've talked about that movie in all 4 of our previous Desert Island episodes. So I'm like, I'm taking that one.
Talk about something else, man.
House on Sorority Row is the one I'm talking
about. Sick of hearing about it.
Jarrod,
I've never seen House on Sorority Row because I hate slashers, Jarrod.
Check it out though, Eric.
I will
like this one.
All right.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that I didn't even think about including that because, like you said, it's so much better than it should be. That's one of those movies that I went into it being like, yeah, this is just going to be a cheesy, silly slasher. And yes, it is those things, but I loved it.
Nice. Jarrod, you bring up a great point. The 80s were perfect, especially like the end of the early 80s to mid 80s, like 83 to 85. You would go into a multiplex and you would see the sorority or fraternity films, and it was either a sex comedy and everyone was trying to get laid, or it was a slasher and everybody was still trying to get laid, but they were also getting killed. So that was what was out there. If you were a moviegoer, I mean, especially a teenager at the time, that's what you dined out on. And there's just always going to be a soft spot in my heart for those movies. They're so nostalgic for me.
For sure.
Being 1,000 years old. Okay, moving on. Eric, what do you got?
All right, man. All right. John really has taken Robert's place. I was thinking I was going to escape this chat without being abused and
I won't abuse him.
And debated over my picks, like Ottone is notorious for doing. We don't need to talk about Blade 2. Discuss.
We're going to have some fun with Robert when we finish all our picks. We're going to have some fun with Robert.
Anyway, but John has come in, guns blazing. So John, I picked Maniac from 1980 for my second pick. Which now listen to this synopsis, John, and tell me how this is not a slasher. An Italian-American landlord, Frank Zito, was abused as a child by his prostitute mother, Carmen, and as a result becomes a serial killer who murders young women and scalps them and attaches their hair to mannequins. That is a slasher movie.
That is a slasher, buddy.
I have a counter argument.
Okay, lay it on me.
Friday the 13th, Halloween, House in Sorority Row, The Prowler. It's about a group of people where an outside force comes at them. Maniac is a character study of a serial killer. I wouldn't call Maniac a slasher anymore. I would call Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer a slasher. The central character is never the slasher. It's always the victims.
So
whether the victims are drawn up well or not, that's beside the point.
You're sticking closely to the slasher tropes. I see that you are a staunch believer in slashers need to follow certain rules. This is kind of how you approach it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I respect that, but I have to go with Maniac as my slasher pick. Because this movie, it felt like a documentary when I first watched it. I watched it probably way too young. But I had heard that Savini had done the special effects, and I was a big Savini fan after watching Dawn of the Dead. I was like, oh, this dude's awesome. He's the best. And then Friday the 13th, like, oh, I love the effects and Friday the 13th. So somehow I convinced my mom to rent me Maniac. And looking at the cover, like, I don't know why my mom said, okay, you can rent this one with the guy holding a lady's head and a knife pointing at his dick. Like, it's okay.
What is going on in this household?
Anyway, I remember watching it. And I don't think I liked it because it made me feel really dirty and greasy and slimy.
Yeah, it's like one of the sweatiest films ever made, too.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Spinell. I felt like he really was this guy. I don't know, man.
It's greasy and sweaty because Joe Spinell all the time looks like a half melted candle.
He really does. He really does give it a psychological edge, which I feel like is rare in slasher films also. So that does kind of go, I think this is a slasher film. And honestly, it was the next one on my list also.
Sorry, Cayley.
So that's okay. I will forgive you because it is a good choice. But I do see how it can kind of lean into the not necessarily a slasher because it's a movie where, again, you get this psychological element. You're right that it totally does feel like a documentary, but a lot of that is because of the guerrilla style filmmaking. Feels like New York City is a character in and of itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't get that raw, grimy, gritty New York City atmosphere in a lot of slasher films. And so that does make it extremely unique within the genre. That being said, the mood, the soundtrack, and all of the intensity in it make it completely, deeply, deeply, deeply rewatchable, which is why it is perfect for a desert island.
Absolutely. It's got a really cool head explosion, too.
A little counter argument where I'm kind of on John's side in terms of how we classify this, because there was a pick that I wrote down that I crossed out because similarly, I was like, I don't know if this quite qualifies as a slasher movie because I view it as more of a character study, and that is 1987's The Stepfather, which fantastic movie, but I crossed it off of my list. And two quick things. One, I love Maniacs so much because, you know, I was someone born in New York City at the time when this movie was being released. And so that 80s New York is what I remember from being a kid.
Yeah.
And so any movies that take place in New York I wasn't born in the 70s, but either in the 70s or 80s or probably even up to like the early 90s, they take place in like a place and time that doesn't exist anymore. And so it makes me so super nostalgic to see, like, I remember walking down 42nd Street when it was just porno theaters and prostitutes. Like, you know, it's weird to romanticize something like that, but I do all the time. And William Lustig is the best dude. He is awesome. I would just, Brooklyn Horror Film Festival was recently, it was last month, and William Lustig had a standing seat in the festival. And so for basically every movie that I had got on my press pass to go see, I would walk into the theater and there was a big seat right in the first seat when you walk in, and that was Bill Lustig's seat. And he was literally in there for every screening.
Wow.
Every single thing I saw. He's still very like active in the community. He loves to just shoot the shit with people. He's like the friendliest dude you'll ever meet. And so anytime we can champion anything that's Bill Lustig's stuff, I get behind that. And Maniac to me is like such a great example of grindhouse guerrilla.
I was going to say, like, along with this and Basket Case are two movies that capture that bygone era of grimy New York City.
Henenlotter is great too.
Yeah, like just the guerrilla filmmaking. Let's just go out and shoot, man. Like they didn't have permits or nothing, and it really lends itself to the overall vibes of these films, where it just makes I need to take a shower after watching this.
And you have
to the terror also.
Absolutely,
the true terror.
Yeah.
I love Maniac. It's a movie I revisit probably every year at least once.
What genre would you place it in, John? What subgenre of horror would you place it in?
Rom-com?
Psycho killer?
In horror, I honestly say it's an early extreme horror movie. Mm-hmm. But it works so well because Joe Spinell is, he looks like a sack of raw meat, but he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I mean, just watch him in The Godfather 1 or 2. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
But he's but it's just, I always think, when I watch an entire movie, if a Friday the 13th, if followed Jason instead of the shitty campers. No, I wouldn't. Right? They did that movie. What was it? A Violent Nature. And it was boring as shit. With the exception of a few kills, it was a boring movie.
Agreed.
So, but I'll never knock anybody for loving Maniac. Absolutely not.
They are these perfect little time capsules of what the city was like. That's why I kind of love movies like Fade to Black and maybe like, Vice Squad, because I grew up on the East Coast, so I don't really know much about the West Coast at that time. So I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I love those films because it gives a little slice of the seedier side of it that's on now.
Just one last Maniac post. If you ever get a chance, go on YouTube and watch Savini talk about Maniac, because he'll talk about the things they wanted to do that he's like, no, we can't do that. Some of the stuff's like, wow, it's like, holy shit.
He's a good interview.
Yeah.
All right, Cayley, what have you got first?
All right. Well, I'm pivoting entirely. I've had to change the entire rest of my life because Eric took Maniac. And I just went through like 5 different movies in my head, and I was like, what am I going to pick off of this list? And I am going with My Bloody Valentine from 1981.
Dang it, I got to scratch one off.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
I took that off my list too because I was like, someone's going to pick this.
Cayley, that
So-
movie's fantastic.
It's a fantastic movie. It feels so fresh and so self-contained, and that makes it, again, rewatchable. And to me, that's what a Desert Island Pick is. Not only is it an incredible film, it has a unique setting. You don't get a lot of other things that are like this with these claustrophobic underground tunnels. It feels so unique and new. And again, we get an amazing killer design, but we also get a lot of character development, a shocking amount of character development with blue collar realism all tied to it.
For sure.
And I love that is one of the things that makes me the most excited. Of course, there's great special effects and everything else. It's just a fun, let me rewatch this dang movie all the time. And in the similar way to Maniac, it has the gritty sort of tone that I just find myself gravitating to at all times.
Yeah.
Possibly
I wish
the best mystery of all slashers.
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine may have the best mystery aspect.
I was just going to say, I wish that it wouldn't have been cut to hell, because at the time they were really cutting back on the gore because of all the censorship issues with, parents going, we can't have our kids be exposed to this gore. So I know that the kills in My Bloody Valentine were way, way gorier, but it all got cut to shit. Is there a unedited version out there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I need to get my grubby hands on that.
Yeah, and it's gnarly. It's gnarly.
Very.
Check it out.
And very Canadian.
My Bloody Valentine is such a great pick because it does something that I think every movie should do, which is have a special folk song written for the movie.
Yes.
It's very important. That
I mean,
is the most
that could
important
go
thing.
either way. Like you could get a Ballad of Harry Warden, which is awesome, or you can get the Madman Mars song, which is kind of cool too. But then, you take one wrong turn and you've got a fall break, and no one wants that.
I tell you what, though, John, you brought up something that I want to point out is, you know what? Bravo to our neighbors to the north. That Canadian tax incentive for filmmakers, especially like Cronenberg, was able to direct some of his best films, but all of these slasher movies that were filmed in Canada, Prom Night, that's the only one I can remember at the top of my head.
Terror Train.
Terror Train is going to be my next pick, so I guess the perfect segue.
Oh,
but
man.
Canada did great work and was crucial to the slasher movement. So, well played.
Thanks to you now, Sean. Another $1 goes to the estate of Roger Spottiswoode.
Yeah.
It's also Canada is also because it's so vast. Like you look at that town in My Bloody Valentine, they have to rely completely on themselves because they're like in the middle of wheat fields. It's like a coal mine, then wheat fields. It's like, okay, man, it makes sense.
And they're so polite about their killing too. They're like, I'm sorry, eh?
That town fucking loved Valentine's Day, man. Never has a town existed that celebrated Valentine's Day like that town.
Right.
And
There were some horny Canucks.
we love it so much. And Cayley, you're right. That The Miner is a great iconic slasher design. I think it's great. I haven't seen the remake. Is the remake?
I was going to ask you, Cayley, what do you think of the remake?
I love it.
It's good. It actually is
That's
good.
all I'll say right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I really, really love it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Well, it's well done. It's fun as hell, and it's kind of mean.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
I ducked. There's a scene, it was like the first movie. The remake is the first movie that did the real D.
Yeah.
And so there's a scene in it. I went and saw it. It was very exciting because it was real D, whole new technology. Oh my God, amazing. And there's one scene where they throw a Valentine's Day card at the screen. And I literally went like this in the theater. So it was effective is what I want to say.
Cool.
Plus, it's got Tom Atkins. So
hey, worth the price of admission right there.
Yep.
There you go. Well, I gave my pick away. It's Terror Train. I absolutely love this movie. It has actually become, and I wrote an article about it for Macabre Daily, this has become a New Year's Day must-watch because the movie takes place during New Year's Day. Roger Spottiswoode directs it. He'd go on to direct some of the Brosnan Bond movies. So you actually have a director there that is probably, and no disrespect to the genre, but is probably a little bit better suited to elevate the slasher movie. You've got Ben Johnson in it, who is, eminently watchable and kind of is almost a little bit like a mislead because he's so lovable and fatherly that you're like, he's got to be the killer. Spoilers for a movie that it's 40 years old at this point. He's not. Jamie Lee is coming off of, she's at an interesting point with this film because she's coming off of the heat of Halloween 4 years, or maybe 3 years prior. 2 years?
Yeah.
But she gives it her best. I'm not going to say her all. She gives it her best in this role, but she really wanted to get out of the stereotype final girl. Kind of love the fact that she champions it now. She's come full circle, so that's fantastic. But there's a lot to love about this film. You've got that incredible disco score that pumps through the entire movie. You've got David Copperfield, boo, boo, gross guy. But he is, he's a MacGuffin and it works. And you just have all of this claustrophobic filming that is effective as hell. The kills are pretty good. The costumes are very cheeky and clever. And I just think everything works. It is a little, it didn't age great. So, because there is some troubling aspects to trans representation and, that we kind of have to carve out. But it's an effective as hell slasher film, and that last bit in like the caboose with Jamie Lee and the killer is really effective. I mean, it goes from a slasher to a thriller at that point, and I'll always love the film for that transition to that moment. It's great for me.
I think I definitely can see it being classified as a slasher. I think the biggest knock on Terror Train that people will have is that it's not very gory, and like there's a lot of death that takes place off screen.
I think it's a lot of this, Jarrod, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of editing. And I will say you're right, like the inciting incident for our character is problematic in a lot of ways and reminds me of, this is the better version of that, but it's kind of what happens again a few years later in the movie Slaughter High.
Oh. Yep.
Where it's like everything is basically the byproduct of a really shitty prank.
Yeah.
It's like, but didn't we learn like not to torment people? Like it doesn't end well a lot of the time. But I think
in 2025, bullying is coming back in a big fucking way, buddy.
Yeah, this is true. I think Terror Train is the better version of that. You also have Hart Bochner from Die Hard. Is in Terror Train too? Yeah. No, I like that movie quite a bit. I think I go back and forth because I realized, if I'm being true to myself, I think as much as I love Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2, I think I champion the first Prom Night more than a lot of people do. Like I think the more I watch it as an adult, the more I like it. I think as a kid, I found it to be boring. And then except for save for like one great chase sequence, I thought it was pretty boring. As I watch it now, I'm like, I like some of the things that they do. And I think Roger Spottiswoode is maybe just like a little more apt genre director than Paul Lynch was. So like, it's not as good, but I do think I like Terror Train more than Prom Night.
Jarrod, I'm gonna ask you this: if Prom Night were a made-for-TV movie during the 70s, I think we'd be talking about it all the time. Like, oh, that was one of the best ones that were ever made, because it's very much of that, like, based off the novel, like a Christopher Pike kind of thing. It has that vibe to it where it is a very, it's an intriguing mystery in the high school. I feel like if Dan Curtis did it and it was during the 70s, we would never shut up about this.
Yeah, it looks like a made-for-TV movie a lot of the time. It's really softly lit, and the daytime scenes look like a soap opera.
Yeah,
through a lot of it. But I think it's I think it's better than people give it credit for. But I still think that I like that you picked Terror Train, because I think Terror Train is sort of underrated in this conversation that people have about slashers. And I think there are fair criticisms, but I think overall it's a pretty fun, effective movie. They remade it. It was one of the very first like Tubi original movies a couple of years ago, and it plays very much like a CW show. It's not good, but
not very good. No. Yeah. All right, this is it, gang. This is final round, and then we're going to make fun of Robert a little bit. So, John, what have you got?
Well, obviously Desert Island, you have to be able to rewatch it. And I wanted something gnarly. But the problem is a lot of the really gnarly ones we already talked about, and the ones that are left are kind of, I'll watch it, but would I really rewatch it? The one I came up with is Stage Fright, directed by Michel Sauvé.
Oh, great movie.
Great movie.
1987. The beginning of a great career that sadly is not around anymore. It's stylish, it's creepy, and for dubbing, it's not bad. Italian to English dubbing, and it's got a Michael Myers / clone that really works. It really and that doesn't happen too often. That owl mask is a beautiful visual.
Great design.
And goddamn, when the kills come, they're nasty.
They are.
There's some nasty kills in that movie, and it's a great setting. A bunch of conceited, self-absorbed theater troupe locked in a rehearsal stage.
John, agree or disagree? Giallo-esque?
I was batting around a few giallos. I would say this is more slasher than giallo. You make a slasher in Italy, everyone automatically says giallo, and I don't necessarily buy that. Like, I really was like debating New York Ripper, but it's such a grim movie. It's not really.
Could you watch it every day on the island? Yeah, probably not.
But Stage Fright, I could watch any of his movies every day. But
nice.
Stage Fright has a really nice place where it has a great chainsaw kill, which you don't get that many, to be quite honest, in the 80s. You get a few, but he solid movie. Love this movie.
I've never seen it because I hate slashers.
I would argue with you, John. I would say that it's more of a giallo. And actually, I got really annoyed. I went to a screening of this movie that was a part of a giallo series. And I had already seen the movie, but none of my friends had. And all my friends who were going to this movie theater were not big film people. So they don't even know what the word giallo means. And somebody introduced the movie, and I expected them to explain, this is what giallo means. And this is why we're including it as a part of the giallo series. Not just that it's Italian, but because we get the black gloves. Like, what makes it a part of that genre? And they didn't do any of that. And I got so frustrated, but it did make me love the movie more, because that is a great, great movie to watch on a big screen. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous. Stylized. One of the first things you said, John, was stylized. I love the style of this film.
I can see why someone would call it giallo. I personally don't, because I think the giallo, like, to me, a giallo is, forget Argento, Deep Red, of course, the crowning achievement, but something like Blood and Black Lace, that to me is a giallo. Yeah. And this, this, who the threat is. They tell you right off the bat, this guy killed a bunch of people and we're holding him for blah 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 blah. And that I think, the mystery is a huge part of the giallo. There's no mystery to who's killing who in this, but I can understand why you would think that. My personal opinion, I think it's more slasher, a beautiful slasher.
Cayley,
it's a beautiful slasher.
Cayley, you bring up a great point. I want to point out that the slasher is so diminished on TV. I didn't see Halloween on the big screen when it came out in 1978, and I saw it on TV forever, every Halloween. And I finally saw it on the big screen, and it was a completely different movie. And then all of a sudden I was hooked, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to see all of these slasher movies whenever I can on the big screen. And they're completely different experiences. And I know you're all looking at me like, duh, but especially for the slasher, because it's the shot composition, and it's the score, and it's all these elements that the directors were working with most of the time, hopefully, to produce an emotion. And they're still there on the small screen, but on the big screen, it's overwhelming, and it makes it irresistible. So
Obviously, though, I think it depends on also the film, because like The Prowler, which I mentioned and I love, I don't think it would look much different than the Blu-ray.
I'll challenge you on that.
But Deep Red, which I got to see on the big screen, totally different experience.
I think maybe the difference, maybe the biggest difference for me to kind of bridge the gap here between Sean and John is that for me, it's seen in the theater means that there's no additional distractions. There's no distraction of I can look over to the right in my living room and be like, oh, that picture's a little crooked on the wall. When I'm in the theater, it's immersive. And that's what horror is supposed to be. That's what horror, I think, more than any other genre. We are supposed to be getting lost in the terror, in the grime, in the disgusting, in the horrible feelings where did I just enjoy watching this gross thing? That's what we're supposed to be feeling when we're watching horror. And it's much easier to get lost in that when you're in a theater.
So true. Like I mentioned this a couple weeks back on a chat I had that I watched The Exorcist and they re-released it in the theaters not too long ago. And of course, a different experience because like you said, Cayley, you are held captive, right? For those 2 hours. You can't escape The Exorcist. There's nothing to divert your attention. I was sitting in the front row with my two daughters. I'm like, come on, kids, let's go see The Exorcist, right? They loved it, but it is a totally different experience when you are in the theater and there are no distractions and you've given yourself over to the film. Works every time.
As a more modern example, everybody who I know who does not like Skinamarink watched it at home, and everybody who I know who loves Skinamarink watched it.
Good example.
Absolutely, completely.
Because you cannot. There, nothing happens in that movie, but when you're sitting in that movie for an hour and a half in a movie theater, oh my God, is it scary? It's terrifying to look at those corners of rooms. I don't know why, but it is. I've never been more afraid in my life.
Blair Witch Project, same thing.
Yeah. John, what was the movie that we just saw up in Beacon, New York? I can't recall the title right now.
$10,000 pile of shit.
Fuck you! I really like that movie. All right,
I like parts of it.
But the point being, it's a cinema experience. They're saying that they're never going to release it on physical media or on streaming, so I guess people will never see it. But if they do, they're going to think it's the worst film ever made. But on the big screen, it actually elicits an emotion. Anyway,
yeah. All right. If I could just throw one more out there that I feel like has a reputation of being like a boring and not very engaging movie, which I think is unfair. It's one of my favorite movies, and I saw it on the big screen a couple of years ago, and it played incredibly well, which is House of the Devil.
House of the Devil. Oh, Matt Orozco just sent me the box set. It's here somewhere. Incredible film.
Like House of the Devil is incredible, but if you watch it at home and you're waiting to just be distracted when things go bang in the movie, you can probably find yourself getting easily distracted by things around you and not really immersing yourself in the experience. It is such a suspenseful, slow burn, that movie, and then when the payoff comes, it really, really pays off. And it was just seeing it in the theater, like I loved it from the first time I saw it, but I feel like I was the way I viewed it maybe lent to that. But watching it in the theater with people who presumably had never seen it before, seeing it for the first time that way, it was great.
Movies like that remind me of, you guys know a theremin where it's like, I feel movies like that are like a theremin where it incrementally increases until it's almost unbearable. And I think Ty West very purposefully does that with that film where you're almost at the point where like, is anything happening? But the vibe of it is it's so heavy that you're just on pins and needles waiting for it. And then when it does, the payoff is incredible, you know?
Well, this is why people lose their minds in theaters when someone pulls up their phone. Oh, like, fuck you, you're distracting me. And Cayley makes a fantastic point about that.
Well, COVID ruined that because people got too used to watching shit in their living room, and now they think the theater is their living room.
Is their living room, yes.
So. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious! All right, I lost track. Where were we?
Jarrod.
That was me. Son of Jarrod.
Well, so John was classing up the joint with that pick. I thought about it like I like that we had the conversation between the difference between giallos and slashers, because I thought about some of my favorites that might work under both descriptions. I thought about maybe including Tenebrae, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Didn't think it quite worked for this conversation, so I scrapped it for that. And I'm going with a slasher that I think is underseen, not necessarily one that I think is among the best, but that I think is better than its reputation as being just a completely disposable carbon Friday the 13th copy from when it came out. And it is 1981's Night School, which is directed by Ken Hughes, the writer of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the director of the original Casino Royale.
Jarrod, Rachel Ward?
Yep.
Oh, I know this film. I love that film.
Never seen it.
Because you hate slashers.
Guess what?
Slashers.
Yeah. It has that
kidding,
great,
man.
it has the great poster, the great poster of the report card, which says A is for apple, B is for bed, C is for co-ed, D is for dead, F is for failing to keep your head. Like, great poster. It's just a weird offbeat slasher. There are enough elements that make it stand out from the crowd. One, it's like a guy with like a motorcycle helmet who uses like a sickle to decapitate people. So the weapon and design of the killer is pretty cool. It is a bit of a whodunit, so there's a mystery element. There's some really gnarly scenes involving like the remains of someone being in like a soup that they're serving at a diner in one scene. It's a really interesting, it just stands out to me. And I'm somebody who loves slasher movies, but I think about, okay, if it's 1980 to 1982, so these things are a dime a dozen. Like Siskel and Ebert are getting tired of having to review them. They stopped after a little while because they didn't want to talk about them anymore. And then you have like things being made on the ultra cheap getting churned out into theaters. You have like James Bryan's Don't Go in the Woods, ... Alone, which is one of maybe the 10 worst movies ever made. Like, if you get a chance, like, watch that one just to laugh at how inept it is.
I just bought that.
Okay. Have you seen it? Have you watched
not yet.
it? Oh my God. It is
I found a really
hilarious.
inexpensive copy of it. And I was like, I've never seen this and I feel like I want to. Okay.
It's hilarious. You will laugh through the entire thing because it's one of the worst made movies I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm so excited now.
But then there's the other one, like the He Knows You're Alone. And that's the one with Tom Hanks.
Yep.
Yeah. And like, so this was assembly line, very cynical studio check, clipboard. Does it have this? Does it have this? And not made a lot of them with a lot of care. Night School to me stands out a little bit among that crowd. Better than Final Exam, better than Graduation Day, better than a lot of the other ones that came out during that time. And it's just, yeah, it's got so many like weird elements that make it just memorable to me. It's not stylish in the way that Suave's Stage Fright is. And it's not necessarily even like, masterfully handled in terms of building suspense, but there's just enough weirdness there, kind of like, speaking of owl type masks. Have you guys ever seen Girls Night Out?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
So Girls Night Out has a similar like, character design for it's like a mascot for their school. It's not exactly an owl, it's like a fox head or something, but it's real fucking weird looking.
Is that a full moon feature movie,
No.
Jarrod? Oh,
we have not mentioned a single full moon feature or Empire picture so far on this show.
It's not over yet, man. Never say never.
Great pick, man. Great pick. All right, Eric, what do you got, Mr. I Hate Slashers?
Oh, okay. This is an 11th hour pick. I was gonna go with April Fool's Day from 1986, but I changed my mind. I am actually gonna stick to John's rules about having slashers be about a group of kids being stalked by a force of nature. It's not a character study. This is actually a sequel, all right? It's a sequel to one of the greatest films of all time. This is Jaws 2.
Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. I support this. Eric and I are ready to take on all comers. It's a great
Jaws 2. Jaws 2 is a slasher movie.
It's a slasher movie.
It is a serial killer, a killer, a scarred killer.
Yes. Yes.
Jaws has a fucking scar on his face, right? He's out there. He's going to kill teenagers. He's stalking them with his razor sharp teeth, right? It's got it all. It's not a mystery. We know who the killer is, right? So it's not that. But yeah, Jaws 2, it's a time capsule of 1978. If you want to know what it was like to live in the 70s, Cayley and Jarrod and John, watch me and Sean know what it was like. But watch Jaws 2. That was what it was like. That's 78 in a nutshell. But Jaws 2, it's a fun movie. Is it rewatchable?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I think it is. Jaws eats a helicopter.
I'm just finally glad that Janos Zwark is getting some love on this show, which I thought maybe wouldn't have to, I mean, we don't get to talk about Supergirl or the
why would you want to?
Pretty good movie that he made. I think it's good, Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, Jaws 2, of course, Spielberg had nothing to do with this, right? Roy Scheider did not want. You can tell, like, he is checked out in this film. He's like, well, I'm just getting a paycheck. Just give me the money, and I'll do what I got to do. But I think the kid cast, the teenager cast, they do a really good job. They got some really good actors to fill the roles of the kids that get offed. The final scene on the boats, where it's really actually really well done. A couple of scenes where the Jaws like goes up against the boat and it's like a quick, you almost got him. It's really cool. And then the ending when the Jaws, I like calling them the Jaws, when the Jaws gets electrocuted, right? Smile, you son of a bitch, whatever. It's
a very
cool
slasher death, though.
It kind of is, man.
It really is.
It's kind of like a Dr. Giggles. He also died very similarly.
Bring
it back to Dr. Giggles, man.
I'm so happy you picked that.
That's my last pick.
I've been championing Jaws 2 as a slasher for decades now, so I feel seen.
Hell yeah.
All right, Kate.
Okay. Hold on a second. I have to
wait, put the brakes on.
Are you channeling Robert right
son
now?
Of a bitch.
Play tonight as Rob Ottone will be John Collins. I love Jaws 2.
Okay.
It's an animal. I wouldn't call Grizzly a slasher. And Grizzly follows the same story.
Why can't an animal be a slasher?
Because a slasher is a human being.
No, John, I'll fight you. For the slasher rules that are established, disfigured killer, teenagers, systematic bumping off, it really checks
Have you ever seen a picture of a bear with mange? They're disfigured. No, I mean, it's your pick, and you're welcome to it. And if I'm on a desert island and Jaws 2's there, of course I'm going to watch.
You're welcome on my island, John, to watch Jaws 2 if you want. If you get tired of your boring ass slashers that you picked, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
You can come over to the fun island, man. We got Dr. Giggles. I got Jaws 2. Fuck, man. My island's the best island right here.
Stephen Graham Jones has been pushing out this everything's a slasher thing, and it just gets to me. It just gets to me. I'm being anal about it. I know I am, but
save the passion, save the rage, because my pick may set you off.
Save the rage,
Cayley, please.
Well,
I know what you're gonna pick.
I'm gonna tell John what my third pick was going to be before Eric stole Maniac, because John, you're gonna hate this pick even more than you hate Jaws 2, because it was the remake of Maniac. That was my third pick.
Honestly, I like that movie. I like that movie a lot.
I do too.
Elijah Wood, right?
But Elijah Wood, and he's outstanding. POV, a beautiful, beautiful movie. But again, this is not my official pick because I've had to pivot my whole plan here. I will say, though, Maniac, the remake, is even less of a slasher. But if you don't think the original Maniac is a slasher film, there's no way you think that the remake is. It's beautiful. It's neon. It's noir. It's a little dreamlike. It explores loneliness. I love it. I absolutely love that movie. And the whole reason that I wanted those two movies is because if I am on a desert island, I want to pick apart a original and a sequel, and I want to love both of those movies, and I want to watch them shot for shot, and I want to find weird things, and I want to go into that So therefore, unsurprisingly, my third pick, of course, is My Bloody Valentine 3D from 2009.
Right. I get coming full circle.
Yeah.
So I love that movie.
Wow.
Again, I already shared the story about me having to duck because the 3D really is incredible. I don't even need to watch it in 3D. I think it's a wonderful remake. I think it's a really interesting remake. It's gory good times, and that is what I want in a slasher. It has the higher production levels. Typically 80s slashers are my jam. That is usually where I'm at. I usually don't like the more modern stuff, but I think that this pairs so perfectly with the original, and it's so interesting to see the updates. You still have those really big levels of mystery. You still get all the red herrings. You still don't really know what's going on. And I just think it's a great little escapism when I am feeling like I'm getting sunburnt on my desert island.
Cayley, I would love to know what the budget was for that film, because that's during that period where it was kind of like a little bit of the CW-ification of slasher movies, where they were, grabbing all these kids from the CW, but they were putting money into those films. Like the House of Wax remake, they're actually really gorgeous to look at.
Well, and again, it was the first real 3D movie. So, I mean, they must have, if they were filming on those cameras, and it's kind of a wacky choice for that to be the first of those movies, because you would think it would be something that would be something where they would get more butts in the seats. I mean, I remember going to see that on like opening day in the theater, and there was nobody there. And that was 2009 was a big movie theater year. People were still going to the movies all the time.
I had the exact opposite. I went to see it and it was mobbed. It was, I went to see it open weekend and it was like, okay, cool. I was happy to see it doing well.
We just have a bunch of losers up here in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
Oh my God, Cayley, I was just there last week for work. You live in Rochester?
Yeah, I do.
Dinosaur
Let me know the next time you're in town.
Dinosaur barbecue was delicious. Best.
It's great.
I mean, you're going to name like 7 places that have better wings, but those wings were insane. Rochester knows how to do wings, people.
Sean, did you not get yourself a garbage plate or a beef on weck?
We don't. I did not have the beef on weck, but I did have the garbage plate, and honestly, I think I just digested it.
Where did you get it from? There's a big debate about where you got it
go
from.
to Nick Tahoe's.
That's the place. That's the place.
Jarrod knows.
Our facilitator.
My wife is from there, so I know that area.
Our facilitator for the training, 6'5", probably about 280 pounds. Guy was like a golem. And he just listed off the places that we needed to eat every single night, and they were fantastic. Great food in Rochester, New York. Oh, I love that you're up there. Good luck with not freezing to death this winter.
It's very cold. It's very, very cold.
Cayley, I'm surprised you didn't go with Popcorn from 1992.
It's funny. That was on my short list also.
The movie you came on to chat with me about on my show.
I know. I got to talk all about it on Cradle to the Grave. It was super fun. I love that movie. I think I would get bored of it at some point.
I could see that. Yeah.
I love that movie, but I think it's just too short and not interesting enough. I mean, it's funny and it's goofy and it's silly and it's all the things that I want it to be. But I just think that after maybe like 20 or 30 rewatches, I would be like, all right, I'm done.
I'm going over to Erick's Island. He's got Jaws 2. I'm going over there.
Yeah, I need Jaws 2 in my life right now.
And Cayley swims over there and sees your skeleton like this.
I'm not swimming anywhere, especially not for Jaws 2.
Yeah.
There are sharks in
out of the ocean.
All right, I'm going to bring us home. I feel like this is going to be a contentious pick. I'm looking at you, John Collins. All right, my last pick is The Funhouse. Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse.
Oh, no. I love it.
Okay, you agree it's a slasher movie?
You got the John Collins approval.
Oh, whew.
You're in the clear, Sean.
Really channeling Robert today, buddy. The Funhouse is it works on so many levels. It's a creature feature because the slasher who's in a mask is actually a monster. A little sympathetic though. I mean, he's also disgusting and rapey and murderous.
Yes.
But you have a soft spot for him. It has a fantastic performance from Kevin Conroy as the Barker, who's also the monster's father. You've got some really some good-ish teenagers to maybe older than teens who are at the Funhouse, Cooper Huckabee, who like you watch the movie now and you're like, oh, this guy is kind of like Harrison Ford Jr. How did he not have a bigger career? So it's fun to see those kind of actors and performances. And it works. It just works on every level. And John, I'm looking at you. Boy, oh boy, tempt me with a good time when you put me in a dark carnival. How about that, buddy?
Love a dark carnival. The only thing I disagree with is I don't think he's a monster. I don't think he's a monster. Okay. I think he's the deformed child.
That's fair.
He's just a deformed man. But Toby Hooper joined. I love
me out to be the villain of this.
I love the look of the 80s Universal horror films.
Definitely.
They're just photographed so beautifully.
Definitely, buddy. Oh, you and I, we're meeting for dinner on Tuesday. We're going to have a conversation about that. You nailed it.
And Toby Hooper, Toby Hooper got a lot of shit for most of his career, but Funhouse to me is, I'll put that against anything. I love that movie.
Well, Eric, would you like to say what the best Toby Hooper ever made is?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Of course it's Salem's Lot, people. Come on, man.
All right. We're going to have some fun.
I heard that, John. Trying to sneak. No, it's not.
We're coming up in an hour and a half, so we got to wrap this up.
Wrap it up, man. I got to eat. I'm hungry.
This was a fantastic episode, though. I knew Slashers was really going to do it. Every episode is fun, but this one, woo, we really got into it.
Good times, man. Good times.
I just want to have real quick fun. We're just going to go around the horn, and Cayley, you'll get the theme of it by the time we get to you because you're one of the last. I want everybody to channel Robert and say what you think one of his slasher picks would be. John, we'll start with you.
Some $10,000 shot on videotape nonsense. Halloween Ends.
Okay.
Don't say Halloween Ends.
Jarrod?
I don't know that I necessarily feel this would be his pick, but it's one that I thought we might encounter, and we didn't, so I wanted a chance to bring it up. And it would be Happy Birthday to Me.
Okay. Eric?
Gandhi.
That's what I was looking for. Cayley?
I feel like I don't have the hang of it at all.
Just go with your heart.
Just pick a movie that's not a slasher.
The more obscure, the better.
Titanic. I don't know.
Yes! You don't even know, but that's perfect.
Robert Schindler's List.
Robert's heart will go on.
The iceberg was so horrible.
Slashed them all, man. Slashed that Titanic in half.
I put it in the email. Robert's 3 top slasher movies of all time were like Water for Chocolate, Amelie, and The Spy Who Loved Me. Cayley, Robert's
Ottone, we love you. We're just
Robert's very bad at movies.
We love Ottone.
I would have liked to hear about Amelie being a slasher film.
Somehow Robert would make it work, and he'd argue about it for an hour.
Follow him on Instagram.
He'll argue until the day he dies.
You people are fantastic.
Wait, Jarrod, what would Steve's 3 slashers be? Quick, go.
Oh, all right.
Well, I know. All right,
Jarrod,
I know Steve. He would have put The Stepfather on there.
Okay.
He would have done a good job arguing for why it was. He likes a lot of the same slashers that I do, so I feel like he probably he would have put maybe one of the Slumber Party Massacre movies because I know he likes that talking.
Jarrod,
about that
he might be a Hell Night guy.
Okay, so Hell Night. I thought about Hell Night before when we were talking about the fraternity sorority stuff, and it was like, where does that one fall? Is that monster or is that slasher? Because
I got Steve.
Sort of.
Are you ready, Jarrod? You let me know. Give me a yay or nay. Just Before Dawn.
I don't know that he would know that one, but that's a good one. That's I don't well. I'm gonna say one for him that is not very good, save for one memorable scene, and that's Curtains.
Oh, I love it though, but it's one good scene.
Good enough.
John Collins, fantastic author. Cannot wait to get into your new novel. Jarrod, I gave you short shrift when I was giving everybody their intros. Puppet Masters, Castle Freaks. The litany of band movies out there, full moon features. Holy cow, you guys do the hard yards and you make each and every episode unbelievable. But honestly, for me, it's the chemistry between you and Steve. I would listen to you guys read the phone book. I love you guys. Every episode is mwah.
I'm going to take this opportunity to plug an episode that you may have just heard when this drops or will be hearing very soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but it would be an episode we recorded very recently with one John Collins.
Oh, yeah!
Where we talked about a movie called Film Gore, which is not so much a movie as it is a clip show of low-budget movies that Charles Band had the rights to, and a couple that he didn't, but put in there anyway, in these truncated Reader's Digest versions of the movies with then some early Elvira wraparound interstitials. Going into it, I remember thinking, this is interesting, but it might be hard to get our normal full, hour 5 episode out of this. And it was anything but. It was one of my favorite, recent conversations we've had on an episode. We got to talk about just, these kind of old, antiquated ways in which people were introduced to movies. There was a lot of film history talk, but I felt like the conversation was really loose and fun. So when that one drops, that was one of my recent favorites. And I'm not just saying that because a very intimidating face is staring at me from across the screen.
I had a great time doing it. It was a lot of fun.
What a perfect double feature with Terror in the Aisles. Ooh, I can't wait to listen to this episode. And then Erick Hanson, well, he does something. I can't recall it right now. And then we have Cayley. Cayley, we had the best time with you tonight. Please, please promise you'll come back again.
Cayley,
this
you're
was
awesome.
a true honor to be able to join you guys. It was a pleasure talking movies. It was a pleasure arguing with John. I really, really enjoyed that part the most, I think.
We all argued with John. We all love arguing with John.
Yeah, this was really, really wonderful. If people want to check me out, they can go over to my YouTube channel, which is Once Over with Cayley, Cayley, and I would be honored to come back and join you guys sometime. So
fantastic. And Cayley, I'll do one more. Can I mean, you've got so many episodes, but I just watched the one about The Entity, and it is I love the various takes on the film. I love how deep you go on the opinions. The Entity, I loved every second of it. So if anybody wants to start, you can start with the first one, but that one's waiting for you.
Cayley has a pretty good episode about Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
It's true, I do. Guess who was joining me for that episode? It was Jarrod and Steve, and it was really, really wonderful.
Jarrod,
we talked about
shameless plugger.
We talked about over on your channel Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl as a companion piece.
We did. What a companion piece.
Yes.
But we lumped that because, as some full moon features are wont to do, Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl is about a 55-minute long movie. So we lumped that with the kindred spirit of Giantess Battle Attack. And that's an episode of our show you can find with Cayley. Sean, you were on our Linda Blair extravaganza for Savage Island and Savage Streets. Eric, you were on for Trancers 2 and 3, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and all of those episodes are fantastic. So definitely, if you're watching this and you haven't gone back to see the people in this group talk on all of our specific shows, that's your jumping off point right there.
This is what it's all about, everybody. Horror people getting together with horror people. They're the coolest, nicest people in the world, and it's always a good time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Just like the dating game, I'm aging myself, but goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
I'm Sean O'Connor from Macabre Daily, and these are some fantastic people.